let's say, Curly, you're not even on this. You're not, go ahead and sit down. Let's say it's just myself and Eric. I've kicked. Eric has started going forward. The referee's saying, no, no. He's not listening. The ball's going out of bounds. The fact that he was in front of me is of no consequence. Don't call that as a penalty, but make it clear that he has to stand still. Now, the exception to all of this, and Mike, you're going to be my demonstrator here. Mike's in the other team. I did a kick, and it's going right to Mike, and Eric is within 10 yards of the person that's going to receive the kick. Standing still isn't going to cut it. What's got to happen is if he's that close, he has to back up until he gets 10 yards, and he has to do that actively, okay? And everybody else can go forward. He can't sit here and wait to be on sides. If he's within 10 yards, he's got to back up while other people who were 10 yards can go forward. And that doesn't happen too often, but just be aware of it in case a referee does call it or in case you actually recognize it and get the chance to call it.
Is it a circle or a line?
A line. It's a line, period. Anybody within 10 yards or obviously on the other side, you have to get to this side.
Cool.
Let's see. And we talked about how to be put on side. Now, if I'm kicking the ball and the other team blocks the kick, offside no longer exists. And the kicker who, the person who blocked the kick is not a knock-on. If you see the person trying to handle the kick, then it would be a knock-on. But if he's just getting there to block the kick, then it's a knock-on, there's no offsides. Next slide, please. Rucks and mauls, and we've done this already. Rucks and mauls, it's, if you're not part of the ruck or maul, then you're behind the last foot. And please, it shouldn't be I'm behind the last foot, but 3/4 of my body is leaning in front of it. The whole body needs to be behind it. Scrums, it's 5 meters back except for the scrum half. And is it U9? For U9, the scrum half has to be, the defending scrum half cannot go past the center of the scrum.
I'll tell you in 2 seconds.
I believe that's correct.
Is it simply U9 or is it U9, U11? That's my
I believe it's
question.
U9.
I think it's
Okay.
just
U9
U9.
and U11.
U11
Was midline.
Okay. So
Are you pulling that
U9,
up from
U11.
the web? Are you pulling that? Is that that sheet? Are you pulling that up from the?
It's Mike's
personal
document.
Yeah. U9
But
and
I really
U11.
like it.
It's the middle of the scrum where the ball's put in that the defending scrum half cannot go by. For any other one, you for U13, U15, you have to be on your side of the ball. So as it moves through the scrum, you're on your side of the ball. And you don't get to go to the other side of the scrum until the ball's out of the scrum. Ever. You're gonna have times when the scrum half is getting ready to pick it up and the defending scrum half sees that and steps over. No, you have to be back here. You have to be on your side of the ball until that ball gets picked up.
Can a defending scrum half be on your side of the scrum?
No. Let's start over
They
again.
have to follow.
Wait, let's start over again. First of all, in a scrum, and we'll cover that later, the scrum half who's putting the ball in can put it in from either side. Even in tackle, you can put it in on either side. That's always been the case. It's just that, especially in the tackle game, it's more advantageous to put it in on the left side because your hooker is closer to you than the opposition hooker. One of my kids was smart enough to put it in on the other side when we were 5 yards out because then he could take the ball and go weak instead of going strong. Referees, please understand they can put it on the other side. You might, if the coach is yelling it, you might say, listen to your coach. But if the player's doing it, leave them be. Please don't correct them, let the coach correct them. And yes, if I put it in on this side, and I'm coming around to pick up the ball, the opposition scrum half can come behind the scrum, but cannot come alongside the side opposite from where the ball was put in. It's not allowed in the tackle game, it's not allowed in the tag game. If you're going to be behind the scrum, it's last foot. Let's see, offside player becomes onside. And this doesn't happen much, if it's a scrum, if it's a ruck, and the defense is still trying to get back on sides because they're one of the slow players, and they're trying to get back on sides and the ball's already been won, and the team that's won the ball has run at least 5 yards or 5 meters, then that player is now on sides. Don't penalize him because, he's thankful he ran the 20 yards just to catch up the play, and now you're going to penalize him. If the other team has the advantage, give them the advantage. Accidental offsides. If I get the ball and run into a teammate, I'm going to say most times just ignore it. But if you think it's of consequence, then it's accidental offsides, scrum to the other team. Knock on. This doesn't happen too often. Let me borrow you again. He's on my team. He's in front of me. Right there. And I've knocked the ball on, and he runs and picks it up. Most times what we're going to do is just plain call the knock on and play the knock on. If you want to get feisty, yes, what you can sue is say it's a penalty because it's a knock on, and this player kept the other team from playing advantage because he played the ball in an offside position. Just as I'm not allowed to pass him the ball forward, he shouldn't be able to take advantage of a knock on for it. So I'm going to suggest what you want to do is say, listen, if you're in front of your ball carrier and he knocks it on, you can't touch it, you're offsides. My suggestion would be that. But yes, you can do the penalty if you want to, nothing wrong with that. It doesn't happen too often at any level. Knock on, and the player, well, knock on, you know it's a scrum. If the player's offsides, it's a scrum, if not deprived of advantage. In other words, he knocked it on, the other person knocked it on, it's all just ugly. I've had times even in the tackle game, especially at lower levels, where things just got ugly. So I'm just going to give a scrum to the attacking side, and they ask why, and say it's just getting too ugly. I just want us to get reorganized on both sides to be able to go, oh, okay. Next slide, please. Knock on the go forward. If the ball is not dropped forward, we'll see at every level a ball gets mishandled, and just because it gets mishandled, the referee will call a knock on. A true knock on is if it's off the hands or the arm, same thing as handball in soccer, and it goes forward. If somebody's catching the ball or gets the ball and it goes straight down, I'm going to yell, play on, straight down. Or if it gets mishandled and it goes backwards, I'm going to yell, play on, ball went backwards. If it goes off the chest, soccer, you're allowed to trap the ball, right? If it hits the chest and goes forward, I'm going to say play on, not a knock on. If it hits him in the head, same thing. And it's happened, it's hit the face and I'm yelling play on. The kid's laying there crying, I might stop playing. But it's not a knock on. If I'm mishandling the ball and it goes forward, but I get control of it before it touches another player or it goes to ground, it's not a knock on. If I intentionally knock it forward and then handle it, it's not only a knock on, but it's an intentional knock on, penalty to the other team. Okay, just like when we do flag football or something like that, right? We're about to get tapped, we're about to get the flag pulled, and we go like this. No. Kick charge down, it's not a knock on unless the player tried to catch the ball and went through that. Forward pass, it's forward, not flat. A flat pass is okay. Please be in a position to be able to see that. I've had times where, I can see what's a flat pass. I'm not yelling at the ref. I've seen times when it's slightly forward and it's really competitive. The refs are not in position. I just keep quiet. There's no point bringing it up because if that's how fast he or she is, that's how fast he or she is. There's not much you can do about it. Yes, Peter?
Kick from a knock on.
Sorry?
Kick from a knock on.
Yeah. There'll be times when they accidentally drop the ball, and not so much that they accidentally drop the ball, but they release the ball and it's going forward and they accidentally kick it, and they go, I meant to do that. If you know it's a knock on and you happen to kick the ball, it's a knock on. Don't give don't give the opposing team the disadvantage of the inadequacy of this team. Don't let the inadequacy of this team be an advantage for them against the other team. If I fumble it and it happens to hit my foot, call the knock one. Let's be honest with what's going on. Even if it's your own player, you can say, good try, but it's a knock one.
But at the same time, there are also players who are trying to kick the ball forward,
And I'll say
and the
that.
referee misinterprets that as a knock-on that they kicked it as it was
And
knocked
I'm gonna
on.
say that's up to the ref, but even in tackle games, if I see that he's trying to do a kick and he just misses it, I just yell play on, and whoever can get to the ball gets to the ball. It's just an ugly kick. Now, I'll say this for kickoffs. If someone's trying to kick the ball and just totally misses it, there are times when I'm gonna say, kick never happened, restart play, because play starts when they do the kick. In the upper levels, yes, you have to call things, but especially at the lower levels, give them a couple chances. Let that one person make a couple mistakes, encourage him or her to go do it, or try it a second or third time, so they don't get the jitters for trying to do it. And then hopefully the coach, after giving them 2 or 3 chances, maybe now it's the time to have someone else do it so we can move on to the game. But everybody should give everybody a chance to get that first one.
So if someone drops the ball forward, it doesn't hit the ground, but they kick it,
If it's a
and they're
knock
trying to
on,
recover,
if it's a knock on, you call it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
because if it doesn't hit the ground, they're still trying to recover,
Yep.
it's still a knock.
No.
No, it's got to hit the ground.
If
Does it
you
have to
know
be
the
ground?
intention, what I'm saying is, if you know the intention is that he's trying to kick it,
Well, it's not always the case. Because I've done it before, I've kind of dropped it out of my hands and kicked it before it hit the ground.
okay, and I already explained that.
Got away with it.
If the person, it's up to the referee on the interpretation. If it's obvious that it's a knock-on, it just never made it to the ground because the person is equally adept at accidentally kicking the ball, at dropping the ball, call the knock-on. Well, do the advantage, see if the other team has an advantage, and if not, then call the knock-on. And I've had it even at tackle level, coach, I kicked the ball. I said, yeah, let's just get past that. Okay. Well, everybody knows what happened, don't make it any worse.
So a call of off the foot, even in men's, is actually a bare call. That's actually supposed to be.
It's always up to the ref whether it's a knock-on or not.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's not a question of whether it's a bad call, it's a question of how the referee wants to handle it
Yes, sir.
in that situation under that game.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and please understand, that's what happens at every level. At every level, it's always going to be the case, the ref's going to go, well, yes, if I'm going strictly to the rules, this is what I could do, what makes sense for the spirit of this game at this time. Do you allow it or not?
So if you had a graceful kicker, you might look like a knock-on.
Next slide. Let's do a water break. Yes. Let's do a battle break. Sorry. So we're gonna talk about the ball's on the ground, and it's sitting there, and the kids are going, what can I do with that? If they play football, the answer is I'm gonna fall on it and lay on it until the referee blows the whistle. Whereupon, if that happens in the beginning of the season and it's a brand new club, what you might want to do is just blow the whistle, say you can't do that. If you do it again, I might have to penalize you. From now on, just pick it up, or if you fall on it, do something with it. Don't just lay on it. If you lay on it and kill the ball, it's a penalty, delay of game, goes to the other team, back 10, and all that sort of thing. I can pick it up, I can kick it, I can fall on it. Hopefully you're teaching the kids to step alongside the ball to pick it up, rather than going up and trying to pick it up here and falling over it and tripping over the ball and kicking it forward and knocking it on and stuff like that. Just so we can get things moving, and that's what you guys should do.